If the wine world had its own Netflix drama, Rudy Kurniawan will be the villain we love to hate. The notorious wine fraudster who poured everyone a glass of lies.
Can I refill and put the cork back?
And sold tens of millions worth of highly collectible wines, especially Burgundy and Bordeaux. Imagine this: a charming young man whose smile is as smooth as Chateau Margaux, and who's spending money like he's in a remake of The Wolf of Wall Street. He would attend auctions, and of course, all the other people are like, who's this guy? Oh my god, who is he? Who is he? Who is he? Little did they know that he was going to defraud all of them. In the early 2000s, he joined the elite wine scene in California. The biggest collectors attending these auctions, as everyone wanted to be associated with him because he was a really good taster. He had such great knowledge. He's also referred to as Dr. Conti because of Domaine de la Romani Conti, which is generally regarded as the best wine in the world, or at the very least, the most collectible wine. Dr. Conti, as a way to big hey, Dr. Conti, Dr. Conti, hey. Little did they know that Rudy was doing pick and mix in his house, in his kitchen. He was mixing wine like he was Heisenberg. Stacks of labels of the most prestigious wines tied around in rubber bands, being cheeky, selling them fictitious wines, fictitious vintages in fictitious formats. And he was selling fraudulent wines to, of course, all of his rich friends. He wasn't before long when Laurent Ponceau, who was the head of the estate of Ponceau in Burgundy, noticed that something smelled fishy, and it was not cocktailed. This guy is trying to sell 97 bottles of wine in 1929, and we didn't even establish till about 5 years later. Where did he cultivate these bottles from? And that's when the investigation started. The FBI got involved, and I believe it was in March 2012 is when they went and scooped him up from his household, and they found all those labels, all the fake bottles, all of the tools that he was using for counterfeiting. And yeah, he was locked up. He was sentenced to 10 years. However, he served 7 of his 10-year sentence. And the craziest part, as of today, what I am hearing, the news that I am receiving, is that Rudy is actually sitting down with some of the biggest collectors in the world who pay a premium to have time with him. Yes, okay, Rudy. And they bring an authentic bottle and have him make a fake one, and they want to taste it side by side. Because in some ways, they perceive him to be some kind of legend. Because to have deceived the biggest collectors in the world for such a long time and relying on his palate to do so is something that's somewhat commendable. I do not promote any crime whatsoever, but of course you have to admit that there's some skill there. I hope this reminds all of us that we should not look at the labels of the wines that we're drinking. We should focus on the content, and we should trust our palate. Okay, enough of that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. There is actually a show called Sour Grapes, which can give you some more insight into Rudy's story.